Hi guys, let's begin with the Read the Marker's Mind. This is another important session. This is part 3 of Read the Marker's Mind, and this time I am targeting 50 mark question, and this is the third Read the Marker's Mind after the revision of the ACCA exam pattern of ACCA Performance Advanced Performance Management. So now we are targeting a 50 mark question today, and this is the question where you will see 10 professional marks and 40 technical marks. Okay, so after the revision of ACC exam pattern, this is the third Read the Marker's Mind. The last part, last time I've conducted Read the Marker's Mind part 1, that was a 25 mark question. The other one again was 25 mark question, but now it's a 50 mark question, and a very good question that the marker examiner has used for the explanation. So it is related to one of the not-for-profit organization scenario, which is obviously a bit difficult for the students as well. Anyways, let's begin. We are using ACCA question 1 of the specimen. You guys might have done this question before. This is what doesn't matter to me. If you have done it, then you are in a best position to understand. If you haven't done it, again, that's fine. But if you have done this question, you are in a very good position, because you will now be able to relate exactly that what possible options you have as a student to write in the examination. Okay, so typical question 1 is a typical section A question where report is asked by a senior manager of the organization to address the number of connected performance measurement management issues. The context for this question is a public sector service, and it focused on the choice of critical success factors resulting KPIs. An evaluation of whether police services are providing value for money, and finally the impact of introducing league tables. So this is the question. Instead of using this, I would prefer going to a proper CBE platform where the question is visible. The task is not to read the entire question in a very detailed way. We'll be skimming the important areas, we'll be skimming the requirements, because our ultimate purpose is to understand what a good answer is, what a bad answer is, for what you will be given marks, for what you will not be given marks. Okay. So considering this in mind, let's begin. This is a question, you might be able to recall it, where there were 3 requirements. One was about the CSF and KPIs for the D-Land police. This was for 16 marks. Then the second one was evaluation of VFM for 14 marks. And third was usage of league tables in measuring the performance of the D-Land police, 10 marks for the professional side. Okay. Now, just to give you a quick recap and the understanding of the background, we have to skim this very fast. Let's quickly do it. You are the performance management consultant brought in by Chief Executive Officer of the Department of Internal Affairs for the country of D-Land. The department handles, among other areas, policing of D-Land. The CEO is a government employee reporting to the Minister of Internal Affairs. The Minister for Internal Affairs is an elected politician appointed by the leader of the D-Land government. The government of D-Land has recently changed, and the new Minister for Internal Affairs has instructed the CEO of DIA to improve the performance of D-Land police by implementing the minister's new mission statement for the police, and that mission statement worth highlighting, obviously. So this mission statement is about to protect the community and prevent crime while providing a value for money service. As part of the implementation, the CEO has identified the following 4 key areas for action. Now, from here, the actual scenario begins. From here, the story begins, and that is what they have done. They started with the revised mission, and what they have done, the CEO is a person who basically came up with these 4 areas of action, or I would say these 4 areas that can address the mission. So let's read the CEO 4 areas: protecting and supporting those at risk of harm. Please try to recall or understand whatever is the case. Ensuring criminals are caught and brought before the court. Achieving long-term sustainable solutions to the causes of crime. Addressing new forms of crime arising in the virtual world. So I'll just give you a quick idea. Uh, First word is protecting, one word. Second is supporting, second important word. Protecting and supporting, two separate things. Okay, those who are at risk of harm. So those victims, to protect the victims and support the victims. Done. Second, ensuring criminals are caught. Ensuring criminals are caught. We should capture them and brought before the courts. Please, two separate things. Achieving long-term sustainable solutions. Long-term solutions to the causes of crime. So the focus is on cause of crime, the root cause, the reason for crime. So once we uh, will implement the long-term solutions to the root cause, crime should go down. Addressing new forms of crimes arising in the virtual world. We know cyber crime and all this digital world. Okay, done. Now from here the game starts. Let's see what happens next. Because I'll quickly jump to my first requirement, okay, without any delay. The new minister wants general improvements in the first 3 of these areas. There is a new minister who wants general improvement in first 3 of the areas. So what are the first 3 areas? Point 1, protecting. Point 2, ensuring criminals are caught. And point 3, achieving long-term sustainable solutions. Okay. As her political campaign was based around criticism that previous government perceived a failure on these points. So basically, new minister, what they want, come on, we have to come up with some general improvement plan in relation to the 3 areas, because last time the government who was operating, they failed to take actions on these 3 areas. So this time it is a reputational what I can say, it's a reputational import. It has a reputational importance for them that they should come up with something better compared to the last governments. Okay. It is widely agreed that in the second area, now this is crucial. Now they are giving you the hint which student in the paper skipped it, and I feel again the lack of reading is creating a problem. The lack of concentration is creating the problem. Okay, so you have to be very much focused in the paper. You have to understand the meaning of English. In Urdu, Hindi, we call this as Angrezi, right? You have to understand what Angrezi is all about, what English is all about, what it means actually. Okay, so please just figure it out. If you understand this, it will be very easy for you to figure it out. It is widely agreed that in the second area, the major concern is catching the criminals, since historically there is a high probability once caught they are brought before the court. Now this is one area they have highlighted themselves that require an improvement. Okay, the third area is being addressed through increased involvement with local communities in order to identify and address the cause of crime. So this is one more highlighted area they have identified in front of you. Okay. The fourth area of crime is in the virtual world. The use of computer violent crime was hardly addressed under the previous government, and minister wants to see creation of a task force that will develop the skill in detection and prosecution of the virtual crime. Correct? Now, very clear. Done. I will not overspend too much time on this. Let's read the next exhibit, from where I'll jump to the first requirement. In the recent meeting with the CEO, the minister indicated that she felt that 4 areas were too vague. Now, from here, the confusion starts. The 4 areas that were identified by the CEO, minister is not happy. The first 4, okay? And in order to better focus actions, okay, the minister advisor has suggested the following CSFs. Now, in the previous exhibit, these four seems to be vague for the minister. These are the improvements that had to be made. Based on this improvement, minister advisor is a second person. He came up with CSFs, better CSFs. Let's see. Greater protection, okay, and more support for those risk at harm. Be better at catching criminals. Reduce the cause of crime by increased involvement with local communities. Create a task force to develop skills in detection and prosecution of virtual crime. My friends, my consultants, I have full trust in you people. See, you can simply compare the difference between these two. That will not be a problem for you. If you see here that the one that the CEO identified initially, these 4 points, okay, these 4 points in connection to the points identified by the advisor person, these are the previous 4, these are the new ones. Okay? Okay, done. Initially, the CEO did not see why 4 areas originally given could not be used as CSF, the one he suggested. He came to you. He wants you to provide justifications in the light of the minister's concern for the changes which the advisor has made to each of these. Okay? So basically what they want you to do, they want you to provide justifications why minister wanted a change in the areas identified by the CEO. In examination, students didn't understood what was required to be done. They were not clear that they had to provide the reason why. See, why these four are better than these 4. These first 4 are better than these 4. Okay. Then using above CSF, he wants you to provide justified recommendation for up to 2 KPIs for each CSF in order to measure the performance. Now, this was a second work that you had to perform. Okay. So, you know the verbs and objects. I've highlighted those pretty well. So, this is the verb, this is the object, this is another verb, this is the object. Done. In order to help you with the KPI, the CEO has provided you with the table of data, appendix 1, so that you can figure out the KPIs, okay, which has been used in the past when considering the performance. However, you are allowed you are allowed to suggest new data which would help in measuring performance, which is not given in the table as well. Okay. The CEO has made it clear that at this stage, no calculations are required. Done. We'll stop here. Now, what I will do here first, listen please. The examiner answer, and many of you are always concerned that we cannot match the examiner answer. It is not possible to match the examiner answer. Who is asking you to match with the examiner? Nobody. In APM, the approach should be right. Whatever you write should make sense. Whatever you write should be well connected to the requirement. Okay? And today you will get the best example of that. That what examiner wrote, which is an ideal answer, and what a normal student will write, will they get marks or not? Okay? Good. Now, I'm talking to myself. So now, two things to be done. First, justified recommendation in relation to, let's make this more easy for the comparison. Okay. Okay. Why this is changed to this? Why this has been changed to this? Okay. And similarly, third and fourth point. Done? Be with me. I will deliberately use the examiner answer to show you that, see, this is what is required and what the people in the paper did write about this. To, from, date, subject, introduction, paragraph. This has a weightage. I'll confirm today how many marks can you expect under the heading of communication. Okay. Right now, requirement 1. The CSF that were identified by the CEO were these 4. Correct? Okay. The first 3 areas where the minister wants improvement because previous government was not good in these areas. Advisor suggested CSF incorporating the improvements to remove the vague part from it. Okay. These are the 4 suggested by the advisor, whereas the fourth was a new one because this is a new thing, fourth one, right? Now, listen. Area 1. Protecting and supporting those at risk of harm was changed to greater protection and more support. What has been added here? 2 things. Word greater and more support. What will this do? This will give more clarity. This will give more clarity. This will give idea that what additional now we have done. Because the word is more support, greater protection. Okay. So The first one has been changed, and this change reflects better clarity, more improvement in the CSF, and emphasizes more on protection and improvement in the support to the people at risk of harm. That's it. Okay. The CSF breaks into two parts, right? Here's This is a straightforward improvement to the existing position in this area. That's it. The examiner answer mentioned that this was a straightforward improvement. What you could have mentioned, like more focus on the protection part, more focus on the safety part, support part, because they want to perform better than the previous government. Okay, so this will give more clarity what additional stuff they have done to improve in this area. Are you with me? Yes or no? Done. Only the simple comment done by the examiner here. Second, ensuring criminals are caught and brought before the court. What they have done? Be better at catching criminals. Why? What they've skipped? The previous was ensure that we capture them and bring them before the courts. What have they done now? They've just made it be better in catching the criminals. What they have removed? Brought them before the court. Why did they remove it? It was not for you to think. It was given in the question. Where it is? Oh, my friends, here it is. See, the major concern is catching of criminals, as there is a high probability, that once you catch them, they are presented before the court. So the critical activity is not to bring them before the court. The critical activity is to capture them. So they removed the unnecessary part. They removed non-value adding work. They removed something which is not critical. And such an improvement is now represented by having such a CSF. Done? Okay, let's go here. What it says, bringing them before the courts does not appear to be critical as it seems to automatically follow. Removed it. Halas. Let's move on. Next, achieving long-term sustainable solution to the causes of crime. Causes of crime. What improvement they required in this area? And that was increase involvement with local communities. What? Increase involvement with local communities. This is the improvement they needed. So the new CSF is reducing the cause of crime by increased involvement with local communities. So what will you say here? It's a simple improvement. As involvement in communities is required, and this will help to reduce the cause of crime. The previous CSF was not considering it. The new one is considering it because this is what they want to address. This is what they want to highlight. This is what they want to do. What is that? Local community involvement is important. Done? Okay. So see, improvement using the mechanism suggested. Who came up with such a mechanism? You. It was given in the question. Done. New forms of crime arising in the virtual world. For that, they have mentioned we need to create a task force. We need to have a team that develops the skills in detection and prosecution of criminal virtual crime. So the CSF is more clear that this is what we're gonna do, because it gives you the clarity that the focus is on creation of the task force that will develop the team skills and all. The previous one was not addressing it, so we simply mentioned this fourth area is a new one as desired by the minister, and this is the improvement we have done in this. Okay. First part, have I addressed? Yes. Did my answer mention the reasons for the change of previous CSF compared to the new CSF? The answer is a big yes. Done. First part addressed. Second part, two CSFs, sorry, two KPIs minimum up to gives you the liberty. Listen, up to gives you the liberty that max 2, minimum 1, not more than 2. Clear? Max 2, minimum obviously 1, not more than 2. The most important thing is you should not go beyond 2. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Not going beyond 2 will give you 1 mark. Not going beyond 2 will give you 1 mark. And you guys know the importance of that 1 mark when someone gets their result on 49. And the stupid thought that comes to anyone's mind is, let's go for reassessment. Instead, your thought should be to grab easy numbers. Okay? Done. Now, my task today is not to explain you why examiner came up with these KPIs. If he has identified these KPIs, these must be correct. Okay? We cannot challenge. Our task is what a normal student will write, and will that be correct or not? Okay? So let's read the KPIs that examiner chose here. He said protecting and supporting are two separate things. Makes sense. Percentage. Okay, for that he said you have to use the appendix 1. So I'll just open the appendix just for your clarity. This is the appendix. The numbers are given to me, so I'm not very much inclined towards the numbers. My main focus is on reading the stuff that is given here. What crap is going on? Okay. Number of police officers. Just look at the data. Number of police officers, fine, makes sense. What it means. Number of administrative staff. Okay. Number of crimes reported in the year. Crimes reportings. Okay. Number of violent crimes reported in the year with violence, beating and all. Number of crimes solved in the year. Okay. Number of complaints. Response to an incident within allocated time. This is given to you in terms of percentage. How much time we took to respond to the incident. Cost of police force for the year. Police force cost. Police force. Staff cost including police officer. That's it. Okay. So we can use this to come up to the KPIs. Let's see what examiner has done. Percentage change year on year of the number of victims of violent crimes. Read, once they are identified as at risk, a register of at-risk people would need to be created. Now, my question is, first of all, from you people, percentage change year on year of the number of victims of violent crimes is given in the data? No. This is number of violent crimes reported in the year. This is not number of victims. This is not number of victims. Got it? But what examiner did? He came up with this KPI. He is the examiner, he is the boss. He can do anything in this world. He came up with this KPI out of the box, nothing given in the scenario, because he has the liberty, because the question permitted to come up with a new data. Okay, fine. You have the option then, but it should make sense. So what he said, percentage change in the number of victims of violent crimes. Once we identify the number of violent crimes, once we identify the victims, then we can see how much percentage change there has been. Maybe it has gone up, down. So this is how you can identify the protection and support. Protection mainly. Okay. Okay. Second, percentage change of staff. See, this is new. Percentage change of staff hours spent with each victim on average in support activity. So he came up with some support KPI. Okay. Percentage change of staff hours spent with each victim. Do we have any hours information here? Nothing. He's the boss, man. He's the boss. Okay, fine. This means you can come up with these things if the question permits you. Okay. This is for support activity he have identified it. Neither of these, see, this is beautiful. Neither of these KPIs can currently be measured as data is not collected. Okay. The first point, the first one, percentage change on year, could be indirectly addressed by measuring number of victims of violent crimes indirectly, which should see a fall in those at risk are better protected. Now the first point he says can be indirectly addressed by measuring the victims of violent crime should be, and this is what they can do through the data that is available here, like number of violent crime reported in the year. Correct, everyone? Yes or no? So indirectly they say we can measure it, but not directly. We don't have that data, that what I suggested. Fine. Okay. Okay. Area 2, CSF is looking at what is often referred to as clear up rate, which is percentage of crimes where the criminal is caught. The data given allows this to be measured through. How are they measuring it? Percentage change in the percentage of crimes solved. So we have this data, number of crimes solved in the year. So they are saying we can work out the percentage change in this. If more percentage increase in the solution of the crime, this means that we are catching the criminals. Okay, now one thing you need to understand. Solution of crime doesn't always mean you caught the criminal. There was a crime, police identified it, that there was a crime, there was a theft taken place, robbers ran away. You were not able to caught the robbers. So the case has been solved. Yes, there was a robbery incident and all, but criminals ran. So remember, solution doesn't mean criminals will be caught. Yes, if you do caught the criminals, that's perfect. But solution of crime doesn't means that criminals are always caught. Always. They might be, they might not be. Okay? Yeah. But if you bring them before the court, that is where you caught them. Okay? So remember, the CSF here is to catch the criminals. To catch the criminals. So this KPI that the examiner has suggested is a number of, sorry, I beg your pardon, second one. The examiner suggested, see what he is saying. From the data, we can work out percentage change in crime solved. Care must be taken that solved is not as criminal caught. There may be the cases where police know the criminal, but he ran away. Okay? Which means he thinks that this measure is useful but not complete. Okay? Useful but not complete. Right? The second part of bringing criminal before the court was not important, so there is no need to measure as such. Right? Because that is why he just confined himself to one measure. This is what the official answer is all about. That's it. Just one measure suggested by the examiner. But you have the option to come up with two. You can. You will get the marks. Okay. Third area. Causes of root causes. Root causes involving in the community. So the measure that you have suggested is percentage change in total number of crimes in D-line during the year. Percentage change. Can we work out? Yes. Percentage change in the number of crimes during the year. Yes, you have crimes reported, so you can work out the percentage change. Okay. Now this, if the number of crimes in the year went down, are you with me? If the number of crimes in the year went down, one can say this is because we have identified the cause of crime, and because we took actions on that, the number of reporting cases have went down. Yes or no? So this measure can indicate such a stuff. Okay? Like if we identify the root cause, we work on the root cause, so reportings would go down. There is a possibility. Okay, so that's why they have used this one. The effect of reducing the cause would create long-term trend downward in this measure. Okay, but he's saying there are many other factors as well due to which the cause, due to which this may go down. Not only working on the cause, there could be other reasons as well. This suggested KPI do not capture the changes are sustainable in long term, which will be difficult to do so. Just one major suggested, and here he has mentioned that this will not give you the complete idea. Okay, which means examiner in this answer coming up with a measure and also mentioning if this is good one or not. Right? Okay. Last, and after that we are going towards one of the students' answer. That is where learning will start. Fourth KPI is of virtual crime. Okay. You need to develop a task force team that works on the skill development of detection and resolving the virtual crime. So what KPIs do they have? Percentage of roles in task force filled. There is a task force. We have 7-8 roles. We have to see how many roles have been filled, which shows that this skill set we have in our task force. Okay, because you have to develop a team. So this is one measure that they came up with. This will give you the idea that which type of skill is now part of my team. Got it? Percentage of virtual crimes reported which were solved. Reported which was solved. Okay, so we don't have this data. I think we don't have any virtual crime data available here, but they came up with a suggestion, because if you think, why are they allowed to come up with such a thing that is not given in the appendix? My friends, the scenario mentioned that if you think you can come up with the new data, here it is. But please, you guys are also very interesting. When someone gives you an option to suggest, then you open your dangerous mind box, and whatever thing comes to your mind, relevant, irrelevant, useful, rubbish, you just write it there. And what you do, the best part I like about you people is you write so many things and you assume that examiners select the one that you like and ignore the one that you don't think is the correct answer. There is one thing mentioned in professional skill, one, communication, effectiveness of communication. It's not everything that comes to your mind you speak. This is what we do in our practical life. We don't think before what we are saying. So in paper, selective. Okay. So whatever you have to write, please should make sense. Okay, done. Now, honestly, as a tutor feedback, as a person teaching this paper since last more than 18 years, and have solved 90 to 95 case studies of APM. You know that is part of my APM course. So many position holders were part of this teaching journey. I believe this answer was not very much possible for a general student to write in the paper. Especially the KPI part, because that's very subjective. Like things that are not given as such, people might not think much about it. They will confine themselves to the data that is given. That's fine. So let's see what a normal, reasonable student will write in this part. And let's see whether they get marks or not. So this is very interesting. Let's begin. Point 1, 2, I'll come to, I'll discuss 1 and 2 later on. I'll start from where the answer starts. Greater protection and more support for those at risk of harm. This is the student answer, okay? Let's see marks, for what you'll get the marks. At first, the CSF sounded more general, protecting and supporting those at risk of harm. You decide, is it right or not? The advisor wanted to emphasize greater and more, as previous government failed at protecting those risk of harm. By adding these words, the shift to other more specific KPI is being highlighted. Now the DP will be evaluated against how it better protects those at risk of harm. Now, what is this? What is this crap written? No, this is not a crap. He is justifying a switch from old to new one. Writing all this stuff. See, this is in a paragraph form. There are multiple points to explain this, which means you get 1 mark per valid point. Now, valid point doesn't mean a sentence only. Valid point means the clarity, the meaning is clear. So what all here he has written, I don't know whether it is he or she, will this be given mark? Is this a right explanation of a shift from 1 to 2? Yes. So let's see. This third point, if you see here, gives you the clarity that why CSF has been redefined. So the reason, if you mention the reason that this is the reason that CSF has been redefined, you get 1 mark for that. 1 mark, only 1 mark you are getting here. Okay. But if you see the answer, the student did use 2-3 lines to explain this point. That's fine. Done. Now the KPIs. KPI number 1, population. Are you with me? Because I want to do some marking as well. So I am thinking that I'll mark here and we'll go to that document to see what score they are assigning. Okay. So let's do like this. Now recommended population, number of police officers. Now just look at the KPI because this is important for you people. Population divided by number of police officers. What the message is? Each police officer is providing protection to how many people? Does this KPI seems okay? Yes. Yes. The data is also there in the question. Population divided by number of police officers. Okay. Justify it. How many police officers are at service for certain group of students? Okay. The better protected those who will feel if there are less number of people to be governed by one police officer. Yes or no? What is better? Example is given, 500 per police person or 1000 per police person. 500 per police person. The student will be getting marks for this? Yes. This is so different to what examiner mentioned. But it makes sense. Does it fulfill the meaning of protection? Yes. This is what I always say. Your answer should make sense. Next. Response to an accident within allocated time is a good KPI showing how fast the police is responding to those risks at harm. The higher the rate, the more protected the citizens will feel. So do we have such a the data given there? Yes, there was the percentage time that you are taking to respond back. Are you with me? Okay. Will the examiner be giving marks for such a thing? Let's have a look. 0.4, 1 mark. 0.5, 1 mark. 0.6, 1 mark. Now see what has been done here. Try to understand. For the first KPI, because you suggested the KPIs, listen, the examiner gave you 1 mark. Now comes my explanation of developing point. What is a developing point? See, all what he wrote after that, the higher the number of police officer per 1000 citizens, 500 compared to 1000, the less the people per police person, means the better the protection is. All what he wrote, all what he developed over the first point, he is getting another 1 mark for the development of KPI, which means 2 marks for this paragraph 4 and 5, where he wrote about the KPI justification and further explaining it. More better explanation of that. He is not getting marks for just mentioning the KPI. Listen, at first place you have to justify it to get 1 mark, a basic explanation. But if you add further on to it, if you develop another point for such an explanation, you get another mark for that. Is that clear to all of you? 2 marks for 1 KPI justification you can get if you further add something value adding to the previous point. In my article of examination drafting, I've mentioned that you get marks for developing point as well. So this is the developing point. Okay. What about the other KPI? In case of other KPI, he came up with the explanation. What did he use? That response time KPI. He explained it, that it will be useful. The higher the rate, the more protected they will feel. Yes, this is right, justified, and he will get just 1 mark because there was no other developing point. He will score 1 mark for that. Is this answer near to what examiner answer was? Come on. No. This clearly shows there is no one right answer to APM. This clearly gives you a good news. This is a good news for you people. Be confident, man. And whatever you write should make sense. Whatever you should write should relate to the scenario. You will pass. You will get marks. By looking at this, I am in love with the examiner professionally. That he's so kind-hearted person, man. He awards you marks if your intention is right. He looks at your heart, not at your words. Oh man, love him. Let's move on and see. Our love will increase for him. Next, be better able catching criminals. Okay. First, the explanation part. Let's see whether the explanation is correct or not. I'll make you the marker. Be with me, please. Now you will decide, should we give marks or not. The CSF is better than previously stating ensuring criminals are caught and brought before the court, since this is a particular concern for the D-land police. Given that historically there is a high probability that once caught, they are brought before the court. Perfect. Yes, he mentioned that this is not critical. That once you capture them, they are brought before the court. So the key is not bringing them to court. The key is to capture them. Should he get marks? 7. 1 mark for addressing the CSF redefinition. That's it. Okay. How many lines should we write? People ask me, how many lines for 5 marks? Sometimes I'm like, how should I answer this part? If it's a 10-mark requirement, 10 points are sufficient. Understand what does it make sense to say, yes, 10 points for 10 marks? Is it right answer? This is not SBL. I don't know what SBL. People refer me, this is done in SBL. I don't know. The SBL expert will tell you what needs to be done. Refer to Sir Hassan for that. I don't know. For APM, it's a different style. Okay. Come on. Now, will you judge the KPIs? Let's read. Number of crimes solved in the year divided by number of crimes reported in the year. What sort of percentage you are getting from this? Percentage solved crimes in relation to the reportings. Is this KPI fulfilling the CSF be better at catching criminals? So again, the focus is on solution of crimes, but indirectly it will serve the purpose. It will serve the purpose. This will show proportion of crimes reported which were actually solved in the year and will highlight how good the police is doing on catching criminals. I hope, I know. Catching and solution is different. I know. Examiner mentioned in the answer. He hasn't mentioned it. Will he get marks for that? Will he be penalized for that? Oh, will he pass the paper? He will pass. Because even he missed out that point, but that's fine. Because this measure also will serve the purpose. Also will serve the purpose. This is a good news for you people. You should laugh now. You should be happy that, okay, we can do it. We can pass. We will pass. We need to have that courage as a consultant to write. That's it. That's why I say, dress like a consultant on the day of examination. At least your body language will become positive. At least your clothing will support you, will make you more smart. I know you are smart. Come on, whenever you go to different weddings and all, why do you dress up good? Why? To look good, to be more confident. The good clothing, the more confident you are. I think this is a fact. So the professional your dressing will be, automatically it will send positive vibes to your brain that I'm a consultant. Come on, I'm superior. I'll come up with the right answer. Correct? Okay. Next one. Number of criminals brought to court. Oh, divide by number of criminals convicted. I don't have this data available, but I have the luxury. There is no data for how many brought to the court. So again, they worked out a percentage. Let's see what happens. Again, they worked out a percentage. Number of criminals who brought to the court as a percentage, how many were convicted. This data is not currently being measured. Very smart student. See, very smart student. He mentioned this is not part of the system. However, it is extremely important that criminals are not only caught, but also evidence is being provided in order to ensure criminals are convicted for their crime committed. Now you tell me what is this right or wrong? This is a very challenging one. Come on. Is this right or wrong? Okay, have you made up your minds? Okay, if you have, let's see. Examiner gave 1 mark, but although the ratio would be better the other way around as a conviction rate. This they have given the marks, but what they say, it's better the other way around as a conviction rate. Yes, it seems okay, because what are you calculating here? What are you calculating? That how many, what are you calculating right now is that how many brought to the court after being convicted, right? And what I personally believe here, that this, okay, he gave you marks for that, but what I personally believe here, that in this case, bringing to court was not very critical one. Yes, not very critical one, because it was very clearly mentioned that if you capture them, you do bring them to the court. Okay. But again, this is what the examiner has done, gave you 1 mark for that. Done. Let's move on. The next requirement, reducing the cause of crime by increased involvement in with local communities. Please have a look. Let's look at the CSF explanation. The CSF is better than previous, achieving long-term solution to the cause of crime, as it provides a mean of reducing the crime, cause of crime. The previous CSF was too general and did not provide a way to achieve it, compared to the new one, which is more specific. Very rightly said. If you involve with local communities, you will be able to know the root cause properly. You will be able to work on the root cause properly. The previous one was not very specific. Yes. So because of such an explanation, yes, 1 mark is given. What is your point of learning here? You should quickly decide in your mind something like this is possible for you to write or not in the paper. Say yes or no. If the answer is yes, then you should be happy that I can come somewhere near to this what is written here. Yeah, perfect. Now the KPIs. Number 1, number of local victim protection centers. See, there is no information given about the victim protection centers. Nothing given. It's a open fire in the air. Now, if you want to grab marks, justify this. Justify this. Let's see the justification. This will show how many victim protection center there are in the community which are able to help victims to integrate into the society after they have suffered a crime. Beautiful. Okay. By helping victims to integrate, provide them psychological support, local authorities ensure they will become good citizens and that further crime is not sought. Now, there is a problem in this statement that I don't know whether you figured it out or not. Let's have a look. See, 1 mark has been given. There could have been a further mark here for development, but the comment is confusing between victims or who are doing the crime. So see what at the end student has done. The last statement is all crap written. He's saying that if you help victims, they will become good citizens. Oh man, they haven't done anything wrong. Anyways, try to understand how in depth they study the paper. If the word or this would have been explained well, the student would have again gained 1 more mark as a development point. So just 1 given instead of 2. No negative marking. You write rubbish, they don't deduct. 1 more reason to love them. You write rubbish, they don't deduct. Okay, next. Number of volunteers. Volunteers? Huh? From where volunteers came? Divide by number of police officers. Which means volunteers divide by, or volunteers per officer. I do understand volunteer is part of the local community. Local community willing to help police to find the root cause seems okay. Okay. This information will provide information on the proportion of people wanting to help police officers to catch criminals and reduce cause of crime. Volunteers come from local community and will highlight the involvement of local communities. Let's see. 1 mark for the KPI given. 1 mark for further development to the KPI. The KPI is what? 10 volunteers per police member, for example. This means there are 10 people who will help one police person to find the cause of the crime. This is out of the box. You guys want to use your brain and mind. You want to express yourself in the paper, right? You're like, can I write this? Yes, you can, provided you have a strong reasoning behind it. So open up your mind that whatever I will write, whatever doesn't means whatever, okay? Whatever means something out of the box, but I'll justify it. I can get marks. See how this stupid is getting marks. I think like this, he'll become a position holder. The way his answer is so, everything is getting marks. So nothing being penalized so far. Okay, done. Done with the two. Last. Create a task force to develop skills in detection of virtual crime. Let's see the reason. The CSF is better than previous, addressing new forms of crime arising in virtual world. As the previous one was too general, there are a lot of new forms of crime in the virtual world, and the police, as any other police, won't be able to address all of them. However, the reformatting this CSF, by reformatting this CSF, a way of achieving CSF is highlighted for 14. Let's see point number 14. 1 mark has been awarded because the student tried to explain the reason for the redefined CSF. What are the KPIs? The KPIs. Number one, number of police officers qualified for virtual crime divided by total number of police officers. Think of this what sort of percentage will this be? This will highlight the qualified police staff out of the total police staff for this work. This KPI will give information on the proportion of police officers who have certain skills, very good, knowledge, expertise in this area. Okay? Because physical crime is different to virtual crime, cyber crime, digital crime. Okay? I think this is a good explanation of this KPI. Next, number of virtual crimes, number of virtual crimes divided by number of police officers responsible for the crimes. This will show the proportion of police officers who specifically responsible for this type of crime. Do you agree with this KPI? What is this KPI? 10,000 crimes, virtual crimes, divided by 2,000 police officers. Is this KPI fulfilling what the CSF is? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. 15. 1 mark awarded for the KPI that we mentioned, number of police officers qualified for the virtual divided by total police officer, 16. You also got development point in the first KPI for explaining it properly. See, it's so nice. First, you get the KPI if you link with CSF, then you are getting 1 more mark if you further add on that. What about the second KPI? Oh, finally I saw 1-0. No marks for this stupidity. Why? KPI doesn't measure what is described as measuring. This KPI is not the right one, because see what is, this is a confusing one. Number of crimes divided by number of police officers. So this is not the right KPI to measure the creation of task force to develop skills and detection of virtual crime. Understood? I can't see this having a good connection with the CSF. Agree with me? Yes or no? 0 marks. Something not awarded marks. Thank God. If you write crap, if you write stupidity based stuff, you will not get marks. Okay? Done. How many total marks the student were able to grab in this part? Technical marks. This requirement was of 16 marks. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 technical marks out of 16. Professional is a separate story right now. Understood? Yes or no? Clear? So, this is a high quality answer, and you will agree with me. There is no doubt in disagreeing with me. Sorry, there's no doubt in agreeing with me that examiner answer and this answer was way different, and got 14 out of 16. Done. I'll come to the professional side. Very interesting professional marks area, because generally we don't have any direct feedback from the examiner in relation to the professional marks. So this will give us more clarity. Yes, all the KPIs that I can see in the chat box are okay, because somehow they do cover the skill set of the police as well, in order to cope up with the, what we say, digital crime. All right. Now, and now you must have understood why I'm referring to the ACCA examiner official answers, so that you get the clarity and you do get to know the difference of that compared to the answer of a student. Okay. I'll jump towards the next part. And the next part, let's close this. The company, sorry, since D-Land Police is funded wholly through D-Land General Taxation, the CEO wants to be able to report on whether the company is providing value for money as required by the new mission statement. He has heard 3 E's but needs an explanation is the verb for these explanation of these 3 headings and how this links to the work on CSFs. Oh, wow, this is very interesting. Explanation of the three headings, 3 marks. Economy 1, efficiency 1, effectiveness 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Easy numbers. And how this links to the work on CSF and KPI already requested. This was one of the requirements that many left in the paper. Economy. What is economy? What is efficiency? What is effectiveness? Explain them, fine. But how are these connected with the work that you did in the previous part of CSF and KPI? This was important requirement that student ignored it, or they were not clear what to answer here. Then he requires an evaluation using the data given appendix 1 of whether company provides such a service or not. He understands the evaluation may be limited as appendix 1 may not give a data set to perform a full VFM exercise. Okay, so 3 things. Listen, I'll jump towards the answer now. 1, 3 explanations. 2, these 3, what link, how these 3 can be linked to CSM and KPIs that you identified in the first part. 3rd, do a VFM exercise, perform a VFM exercise. And when you are required to perform a VFM exercise, you do calculate ratios, economy ratio, effectiveness ratio, and efficiency ratios. Okay. So I think there are 2 areas to get easy marks. 1, 3 calculations, 1 for economy, efficiency, effectiveness, and 3 easy marks for definition. 6 marks done out of 14. How many marks you need to pass in this part? 7. Wow. See, imagine 14 mark requirement, 7 you need to pass, 6 you can grab so easily. 3 marks for 3 easy calculations, 3 marks for definition. Wow. Khalas. Done. Usko bhej de. Okay. Anyways, let's look at the answer. Oh, Mr. Examiner, why you write such a big answer? You give lot of tension to students. So let's see Mr. Examiner answer. Filled with full love and knowledge. First of all, economy definition, efficiency definition, effectiveness definition done. I'm not reading this, okay? But the only thing I want to tell you, economy is not just looking at cheapest cost. And you're like, what? This is what we have learned since last 3 months. Economy is not just looking at cheapest cost. In fact, cheapest cost for the required quality. Okay? For the required quality. That is important. Anyways, done. 3 marks completed. Now, read this part. This part is addressing the second requirement of the examiner. And what was the second requirement? Come on. How these 3 link with CSF and KPIs. Which student missed out? But, sir, if we missed out on something, can this affect our passing? Oh, what a question. You guys ask such questions, right? Sir, I missed out on that. I think I'll not pass. Today, you will get the answer about this as well. Let's first look. All the CSFs mentioned above, all the CSF mentioned above, these these four CSFs and the KPIs that we came up with, because CSF and the KPI are connected to each other. All these CSF and KPIs were linked with economy, greater protection is economy, be better in catching criminals is economy, identifying causes of crime is economy, developing a task force for virtual crime is economy. Are these for efficiency? These are the outcomes that police requires to achieve, that minister wants to achieve. These are the outcomes, which means all these four are connected to effectiveness. Sometimes, when we don't understand what to answer in a conversation with two people, we tend to ignore some point that we don't understood. We're like, let's skip it. We are like, we never heard about it. We are like, I don't know what you are saying. Many did this in the paper and they actually didn't respond back to this part because they never knew what to write. So very simple. Examiner answer says, very simple, all these are connected with effectiveness. Okay? Done. Appendix 1. Let's look at the data. Data I have is of last 3 years. Two answers were properly linked with the requirement. Now the third one, to perform VFM. For that, I need to work out economy measure, effectiveness and efficiency measures. I have 3 years of data available to me. All this exercise will be performed on internal data, as nothing is available to compare with the external information, which means the benchmarking will be done using internal data. This is what examiner has mentioned. I'll just tell you the importance of each and every statement. Okay, done? Okay. Now, first of all, economy. What can you work out for economy from the data? Come on, you can test yourself as well very quickly now. Staff cost. Staff is a key resource. Staff cost, including police officers, divided by total employees, administrative and police, you will get salary per employee. Correct? This staff cost includes police officer cost, but this staff cost does not indicate the salary of the police. And please don't say police salary is here. This is not police salary. This is the cost of police force. It's not police salary. So for economy, if I had a breakup of staff cost into police salary and administrative staff, so I could have worked out cost per salary of police separately and cost per salary of administrative staff. Okay? Right? Okay. Now, by looking at the calculations, they have worked out this calculation like cost per employee. And if you compare the numbers You can do the analysis. I'll not go into the analysis. I'll just tell you that this cost, I think, has gone down. In fact, this includes both administrative and police staff cost. And they have mentioned that for better analysis, if we would have given the data of separate staff of administrative people and police, we would have done a better analysis for each and every grade of staff, like police and the administrative person. Okay. You can see here, this is all you can use for analysis. Like number of police officers have went down. Police officers went down. Okay. Whereas administrative staff gone up. You can see the numbers do indicate that police officers are going down, whereas administrative staff is going up. So this is all what you can mention in analysis as well. Okay. We can compare with the national average and all. These are what written in an official ACC answer, that you have to compare with the external companies or police services or the national industry benchmark, blah, 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 blah. Okay. For a proper analysis, because you cannot simply judge on your own internal data. For a complete VFM exercise, you have to compare with the industry averages and all. Okay. Efficiency. What have they worked out? Solved crime per police officer, solved crime per employee. Police officers per 1000 population, because population was also given to you. Yeah, this is a good measure. Police officer is an input. To whom you are providing a service is the population. Okay. So police officers per population, 1000 population. They have worked out these. Not all were required. This is an ACC official answer. Not all were required. Okay. Any one of them would have been good. Maybe two. Okay. Based on this, they've analyzed it. Like you can see, solved per police officer is going down. What could be the reason? Number of police people are going down. We have seen that. Maybe this could result in solved crime police are going down. Okay. Similarly, police officer per 1000 population is also going down. This is a bad sign. It's not good. So again, this could be due to less number of police officers left, or the number of police officers going down. So we'll analyze like this and we'll say the performance is poor in this area. That's it. Okay. Simple. 1 to 2 measures and assess the performance. For effectiveness, more was required. Why? Because all the 4 CSFs were connected to objectives and the outcomes. So what they have done, again, I would again say, ideally it is good to link with all the 4, but in examination I don't think student will connect. See, all these 4 are the objectives, part of mission, yes or no. One can think to judge them, one can think to test them, but I don't think in examination many of you will pick up, okay, let's check all the 4. So at least 1, at least 2 you should be able to link, like protection and support of those risks at harm. What they have done here, percentage of violent crime remains flat over the 3 years of data at 20% of the total crimes reported, which means what they worked out, let me just tell you, this divided by this. So it remained same at 20%. They were like, okay, this is good. And it hasn't changed. It remained static. Correct? Done? Okay. Second, so the protection remains the same as per this measure. Then solving crimes, it's the same. Solve divide by total reported. Solve divide by total reported. Solve divide by total reported. So for this they have done, this is the percentage, and they are like, there is a change in the percentage due to number of police officers have fallen. Okay. Causes of crime, virtual crime. For virtual crime, they have mentioned that it is not possible to measure because we don't have the data available. Let me tell you, in the question where it is, see, read this. He understands the evaluation may be limited as appendix 1 may not give a data set to perform full VFM exercise. And you have to mention it. You have to mention it that, okay, I don't have too much information of it. So I have limited information. That's why I cannot completely perform VFM. Okay. Understood? Okay. Done. Now, this was the official answer. This was the official answer. Let's come to the world of reality. And let's see what you and I can do. What can we achieve? All right, where I am, I think we are right now here. Okay. This student started with definition, should have given him 1 mark. Best outcome using low cost. Then, what he did, he explained economy, then at the same time he explained the economy performance of the police service, then went to efficiency, and then for effectiveness. So first of all, what did he worked out? One way to measure economy will be staff salaries. In police, there are administrative staff and police officers. See, mentioned here, breakdown is required in order to understand whether and where economy is achieved. Okay. All staff on average have decreased. All staff costs on average have decreased during 3 years. This means personnel costs have reduced, and therefore economy was achieved throughout the period. Very interesting point you will learn today. Economies were achieved. Further, we can see police officer salaries have increased from 57 to 59 in 3 years. I don't know from where they worked out that. Let's see. This means economy was no achieved in respect of police officer salary. Some problematic answer. Okay. For this, what supporting calculations have been done? Okay. For economy, staff salary divided by total number of staff. This is salary per staff. Okay. And this is the police officer cost he came up with. I don't know what sort of cost it is. So he's saying that staff salary has gone down, which is good from economy perspective. Whereas, what a stupid answer. If police cost is part of staff salary, then how can police officer cost go up? I don't know what sort of analysis this. See, if it is not right, he will not get marks for that. Okay. So two things are in my mind. Will he get marks for definition of economy? Yes. Will he get marks for the calculation done? If the calculation is correct, he will. Will he get marks for the assessment of economy? If that is properly done as per the calculation, yes. So let's look at the calculations first. Guys, please, let's have a quick look at the calculation part first. 39 calculation, 139, this. 1 mark for calculating average cost per employee as an economy measure. Perfect. Okay. 40. What 40 is? Some police officer cost. I don't know what crap is this. 0. 0. As this is not police officer cost per police officer, but cost of police force per police officer. Do you have this data available of total police force? Yes. What you could have done is total police force cost divided by police officer is the right thing to work out, rather than what he has done, police officer cost per police officer. This means he thought that total cost of police force is the salary of police, which is not the case. Okay. Do you agree with me? Total cost of police force is different to police salaries? Yes or no? Say yes or no. Yes. But for him it was same. And the economy calculation mark has already been awarded, 1 mark given. Nothing for here because this is not the correct meaning to what he has done. Now the assessment part. So looking back to the assessment part, I think we did covered this. It was like from the salary perspective, salary has gone down, it is good. From police perspective, the cost has gone up, which is not good. Okay. Now, see one thing very crucial, very important learning you will be able to grab. 1 mark for the definition. Easy numbers, I always say, easy numbers. 1 mark. 1 mark for the calculation already done. Assessment. Oh, interesting. 1 mark for mentioning the breakdown is needed. 1 mark for mentioning that I need a breakdown of staff cost and police cost. Easy. Okay. And interestingly, 0 marks for the assessment of economy. What all he mentioned, that staff costs went down, so the company is economical. 0. Sir, listen, sir, why? If the cost per staff member goes down, so the business seems to be economical. Why this is wrong? Because quality aspect was missed here. You cannot reduce the cost at the expense of quality. Did we actually see in the official answer that crime solved per police went down? Yes. Because of what? Less number of police members. So if you save on the cost side, is your quality protected or not? Whenever you answer economy, consider this. Otherwise, no marks. But how kind-hearted this person is. Despite, for me, I will say your economy analysis is a crap. But still, he is giving marks for the definition, 1 mark for calculation, and 1 mark for mentioning that the breakdown is needed. Just imagine 14-mark requirement, 3 areas of economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. If I split 14 divided by 3, approximately 4.5 for each area. In that 4.5, 3 marks of economy is simple. We don't pass, I don't understand. By looking at this meet the marker's mind, I really don't understand why the passing ratio is 38%, 37%. Either he is lying here, either he is showing himself too kind in this marker's mind, which is not the case in his actual life, or you guys are really talented and you show your extraordinary talent on the day of examination. Adverse talent, huh? Don't be happy. Either he is lying today or you are super talented. I don't know what's going on. Because looking at this sort of a marking scheme, I'm dead sure everybody should pass, or I would say at least the passing ratio should be more than 50%. See, now students have started commenting that this is fake. We are correct. We are right. Oh, wow. 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 Let's blame the examiner. Double-faced examiner. Okay, done. Now, efficiency. Can you just check the size of the answer? Efficiency, 2 lines. I know these are 2 big lines, but still 2 lines. This is a measure of how much output is achieved by input providing to the police. 1 mark done for definition. This can be measured as population to police officers. Okay, the measure itself. The proportion of citizens per police officer has increased during 3 years. So less time will be available for police officers to take care of citizens, catch criminals, and be involved in reduction of virtual crime. Let's go check the Excel, the calculation done, efficiency. What has been worked out? Population divided by number of police officers. See, has it gone down from 303 to 309, from 309 to 313? Sorry, it has gone up. It has gone up, which means one police member now dealing with 313 people compared to 309 last time. This means now more people, one person is catering, quality may be compromised. Okay? There is something else that he has worked out here, which is complaints divided by police officer, but no assessment done in efficiency paragraph. Okay, let's look at the marks for the calculation. For calculation of population per police officer, he is getting 1 mark. 0 marks for the incorrect calculation of this ratio. What is that incorrect calculation done? I don't know. Let's have a look. It's complaints per police officer. Complaints per police officer. If I go back to my answer and if I purposefully open this, number of complaints divide by number of police officers. 7624 divide by 37,930. This gives me idea of complaints per officer. I think it's okay to work out complaints per officer, which means how many officers are dealing one complaint, somehow I would say. But this calculation is done wrong. If you divide this with this, you will not get the answer which he has calculated here, because the number is wrong, calculation is wrong, no marks awarded. Okay, and further, sorry, here, this one, no marks awarded and no explanation done for this under efficiency as well. Okay, so let's go back and see the marks for the assessment done by the student in relation to the efficiency part, where just one ratio has been catered by him. Will he get marks or not? Let's have a quick look. This is the calculation number, statement number 23 and 22. Okay, 1 mark for efficiency, 1 mark for interpretation of the one ratio. So that was okay. What all he mentioned, that the police officer per population is going down. Sorry, population per police officer is going down. So this affects their services. This is perfectly fine to write. Okay. So 1 mark for that. Nothing for the other calculation and no explanation of that is also given. Just 2 marks for efficiency done. Effectiveness. Did he explain the objectives here? Did he explain? Yeah, will focus on achieving its stated objective. The CSF regarding being better at catching criminals will be addressed by ratio of resolved crimes in a year to total reported. Okay. As can be noticed from spreadsheet, effectiveness measured through this ratio is decreasing year on year, meaning police officers are less effective in trying to catch the targets. Also, number of complaints per police officer. Oh, complaints per police officer, he wrote under the heading of effectiveness, but did the calculation under the heading of efficiency. You guys do such stuff. Okay, number of complaints per police officer has increased, meaning people feel less protected than 3 years ago. So this is how he covered the objective. Number 1, he covered through catching criminals. Second, he covered through protection given to them. Okay, understood? Now you tell me, guys, listen, if complaint per officer increases, the calculation done was wrong. We have seen that before. Okay, just tell me this. If complaints per officer is increasing, is this a sign of more protection or less protection? Decide. Less protection. Okay, so what he wrote is correct, but what he worked out was wrong. Understood? This is what I'm telling you openly. What he wrote is correct, but what he worked out was wrong. So examiner penalized him for the wrong calculation, but gave marks for the correct interpretation. But gave marks for the correct interpretation in relation to this particular part. You can see 1 mark for the effectiveness explanation, 1 mark for the first measure, that was number of crimes solved, 1 mark for the interpretation of the first calculation and 1 mark for the interpretation of the other calculation that was wrong. Interpretation was right, calculation was wrong. So he didn't give you marks for calculation, gave you marks for the correct interpretation. Are you with me? This level of kind-hearted this person is. You did something wrong in calculation, but you did the assessment correctly. You get marks for that, and you'll not get marks for the wrong calculation. I don't know why the passing ratio is 38%. Or he's a big liar. Or I won't say anything else. So let's go look at the Excel for the calcs done. Crime solved. This is the correct calculation, 1 mark for that. And I don't know why he wrote this. See, examiner is very clever. Was this data given in the appendix? Incident percentage, was this given? So you can't impress him, man. You can't impress him for shit. See here, 0 marks. He's saying this is just what was given in the scenario. Whereas you will get 1 mark for the crime percentage that you worked out, resolution 1, and see 0 marks for what he worked out, complaints per police. But interpretation was correct, you got the mark. My next question from you people: did this student covered all the 4 CSFs? No. He covered criminals caught. He covered protection for the risk at harm. That's it. How many marks he managed to secure? 1 mark for the calc and 3 marks. 1 for the effectiveness definition, 2 marks for the assessment, man. 4 marks in effectiveness area. Not even covering all the CSFs. I am dead sure in my days of doing my ACCA, in those days, nobody used to explain in depth such things. Neither such documents were available, neither the tutor used to explain and go in depth. Had we been available with such resources, oh, I cannot tell you. We would have easily secured 90 plus marks. Because despite we didn't had these things, we used to end up getting 75, 78, 79. You are lucky, or I think unlucky. Because of too much spoon feeding, people don't study much, or I don't know what's the issue. All right, how many marks in this part? This dumb secured 1, 2. He's not dumb actually. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 11, I think it's written at the bottom as well. 11. 3 for calculation, 8 for the discussion part. 11. In these 8, 3 are for the definitions. So see, 3 for definition, 3 for the calculation, 6 marks. Easy. 11 out of 14. Wow. So far, is it useful? Understanding everything, yes or no? And I'm sure you are getting the clarity why I'm doing this and how I'm doing this. Reading the question, the official answer, and then the student answer, so that you can compare. This is manageable, man. This is manageable. And this should give you more confidence that, come on, we can do this. And if you have that confidence in your mind, there's no point that you will struggle, inshallah. And I've seen 4 of my students grabbed position in March 25. The top 3, 82, 78, 75. Now these are not very low percentages. These are very good percentages. So what I feel is, if you understand the basic idea of answering, if you have that courage, yes, what you are writing links to the scenario and you can justify it. Should link to the scenario and you can justify. That's it. Okay, let's close this and let's go towards league table requirement. The minister is interested in benchmarking, as this was often done during her days in the business. As a result, she joined an international initiative for creating a league table of fire service data by sharing information with other nearby countries. The CEO believes that the minister will want to introduce this idea for DP, and so wants an evaluation. This is the examinable verb, including any recommendations if you have of the use of league tables. Of an international force perform sorry wants an evaluation of the use of an international police force performance league table. Okay, fine, this is the object, and its links to targets for the police. The CEO is especially concerned about the police officer reaction to this new idea, as they have a powerful union which has widespread public support. Okay, however, he also wants you to explain, this is another verb, how, another object, league tables and targets might affect police officers' behavior. So specifically, there are 2 things to be answered in this requirement. One is how, one is an evaluation of how league table will be for the police service. You have to evaluate the use of league table for police service. And now let me tell you one thing, those are students who answered or will answer in such a way that they start answering general benefits of a league table, general drawbacks of league table, will not score here. It is must, it is compulsory that you have to link with police service. This is a police service league table. So your answer should, whatever use of league table you mention for police service. Whatever challenges you face, you mention those challenges for police service. This is the first part of the answer. The next part of the answer is about what? The next part of the answer is about how this league table and the targets will affect behavior, police behavior, positive impact or negative impact. And these police service do have public support. Okay, so they have a powerful union. So had to answer two things. Okay, fine. Let's go and see the official answer caters both the points or not. Okay. First, the answer will mention the general benefits relating to police service of a league table. Okay. Like league table will result in giving you the idea that which police is performing good, which is performing bad. Best practice will be transferred. It will help to improve the performance of the police service. Positive sides. Negative sides, the table itself is score based. Actually, when you recall, if you recall league tables, it is score based. There are different criterias we measure, we assign scores to it. So final score comes like 5, 6, 7. We say 7. Those who has the highest score is the best one. So it says that maybe a police service having a higher score might not be good in each and every area. Okay. Plus, one having a low performance in terms of a score might not be bad actually, because maybe their maybe their surroundings, their condition, their environment is of such a nature that their performance seems to be weak, but they are performing good. Like a police performance in a region where thefts are too much, they have done well, but because thefts are too much, so maybe their number of thefts or the resolution might not that be high, but they have performed well. So different countries, different environments can affect the performance. So it's not just one league table that will decide who is best, who's worst. This is the negative side. Okay. Plus, when you make a league table, so to decide what are the criteria, what are the important things to be measured, what weights to assign them, all this is difficult. Similarly, because league table has one drawback of what gets measured gets done. Now, if you whatever you measure in a league table, police service will try to achieve that. The question is what being measured in the league table is properly answering the objectives, the mission, the CSFs. So alignment, if there will be a problem in the alignment, then league table will not give the desired results. So these were the positive negatives in relation to league tables. Then the answer, the one that I've highlighted in front of you, answered about the league table, setting of targets, and the behavior of the police. Now, positive impact, yes, police officers might take this as a source of improvement, but flaws are there. Like it can affect negatively on their behavior. Like if they feel things are out of their control and are being measured in the league table, so they will be demotivated because they know their performance will be bad because things are outside their control. Like overall, more crime in a city is not totally under the control of police. Okay. Similarly, if they think their work, their effort doesn't have too much impact on the final result of a league table, again, they will not push themselves. So there are questions like how much value adding work they do and that adds to the league table, number one. Number two, how many things are under their control for which they are being assessed. Okay. Because if they get demotivated, they can definitely have a powerful union with the public, and this can all go wrong for the use of league table, because public definitely will be with the police officers, as it is mentioned as well, and public do believe that police, being expert, are better able to judge whether league tables will be useful for them or not. So taking their uh, or I would say acceptance is very important for league table to be successful. So this can have a negative impact on their behaviors if they feel things are not under their control, if they feel their work doesn't add value to the final result of the league table. So this will not work well. So this is the official answer. Two things had to be answered. You have seen the style of ACCA examiner answer, and this is the best style. I follow this style. Like, you know what I do? I always mark the objects. So I do write that first object is evaluation of league table. Second object is, if I would have been writing this answer, so I would have used two headings: use of league table, impact on their behaviors. And under these headings, I will write the answer. Okay. But I'm shocked to see the official answer done by the student was a one where the student used headings like advantages and disadvantages. Okay, that's fine. I'm not against it. But under these two headings, somehow he covered both the aspects: the positives of league table for police service and the impact on police behavior, the negatives of league table for police service, and the impact on police behavior. Okay. So this clearly shows again there is no one right approach to APM answers. Let's see. His answer started by mentioning league tables are list of indicators, financial, non-financial, for many other police department rank each other. Using league tables, the police will be able to see their position. They can compare against other police department in other countries and assess performance. Okay. Does this will award any marks? So I think by mentioning this, what he or she has achieved is they have highlighted the benefit of league table somehow. So it is a correct concept of introducing league table. Fine, 1 mark. Okay, we do normally say, okay, we can write a bit about the basic thing. 1 mark. Right. Now, next, advantages. Let's read. The use of league tables will increase competition, as police will see what position it occupies in the league table and it will be eager to get a higher rank. You decide, is this the right benefit for police service? This is particularly important for police, which is a not-for-profit organization with political factors playing an important role and previous government failed to achieve. Do you think this is the right benefit for the police service? Yes. This statement is correct. This assessment is correct. Now, this is the benefit of league table. The usage of league table is being evaluated. Both the points were marked. Okay. Let me tell you one, this one, and the second one. Because second one was a developing point to this one. Understood? And two had separate meanings as well. Next, if league table are published on internet, it will increase transparency and accountability in the eyes of citizens. Come on. Good. This is for police service. This is not a profit organization league table discussion going on. The DP will know the information is public and will try to improve the service. Let's see. Will this be marked? Yes. This is from here till here is a complete it's a complete valid point. It is giving you the clarity of the meaning of the statement. Okay. League table will provide staff with choices. Now you decide. Now you decide. Come on. League tables will provide staff with choices as to where to work. Some police officers may feel that would be better in other police department which provide higher salaries. Is this the work of league table? Come on. Is this the work of league table where staff will say, okay, wow, I will go to this police service. If you will write rubbish, you will not get marks. Does it make sense? Is this the proper benefit of league table? No. See, examiner is not a kid. This is not an advantage of league table. This is not the purpose of league table. My friends, this video along with part 1 and 2 of Read the Marker's Mind, I've covered 100 marks. I'm telling you, these 3 videos, I don't know what it can do. It can do wonders. It can totally change the mindset of the students. Done. Police officer may feel encouraged if league table reflects their performance. Police officer, word is police officers may feel encouraged if league table reflects their performance. For example, if they feel motivated to work towards goals and targets if position in the league table is good. Now this is a benefit, but the lovely part is, and I like this person, that's why I'm saying I love this person. He is so kind. He himself bifurcated this point and took this point in the direction of positive behavior. Wow. If in reality he is what he is showing here, he deserves to be appreciated. He deserves to be loved because he is so nice that he himself bifurcated. Okay, see, the first 3 points were assessment of league table. This point is positive impact on police behavior. And that stupid student never highlighted this separately. I don't know, did he ever had the intention to focus on the behavior part or not, but okay. Examiner has identified it. Done. How many marks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 marks. What else you need here? What else you need? Drawbacks. Let's see whether two parts are covered or not. Police officers may resist to the introduction of league table, especially if league table ranks them low, which also affect motivation, achievement of targets. Now, what do you think? This point serves which requirement? Assessment part or the behavior part? Behavior. Demotivation. Okay, very nice. DP police officers are unified and have public support. We have seen that. Their reaction towards introduction of league table will be important. If they don't like the idea and are reluctant to change, police officers provide them with better condition in order to accept the league tables. Sorry, I missed out. Reluctant to change, they may leave their jobs or ask for higher salaries. Again, this is again hitting the behavior of police officers. So this entire sentence that I just read in front of you, 36, linked to police behavior. So this point was covered. Next, this way government will be forced to take some important, maybe drastic decisions as to whether replace the current police officers or provide them with better condition in order for them to accept the league tables. Also, public are likely to support police for current government. It is important to be seen as efficient, effective in the public eye. So police reaction will be of great significance. Again, highlighting the impact on the behavior. So you can see all these are marked and you're getting the marks. Everywhere it's 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark for the valid conceptual point. Therefore, it is very important that police officer understand the use of league tables, and this is not simply imposed on them. Nothing for this one, because this was not relevant to the behavior impact, because this was something else. They are saying police officers should understand league tables, so nothing for that. Okay. Still, you see, they managed to secure how much on this part? Wow, 9 marks. 9 marks out of 10. 10 out of 10. 9 marks. And what were the headings? Advantage, drawbacks. So you get mark for an each valid point, and if you add some developing point on that, something additional, you get marks. So if you look at the technical side, I'll just touch the professional side. Part 1, 14, part 2, 12, part 3, 9, 30 out of 40 marks. 30 out of 40 marks. And if you look back to the ACCA official marking scheme for this requirement, for this question, just to give you the idea, 16 mark, 4 marks were for the justification to the CSF, 1 mark each. There were 4, right? 1 mark each. And up to 4 marks for each area of KPIs that you had to recommend. I can split things very easily. 16 minus these 4 remain 12. 12 divided by 4 areas, 3 marks per area. For under each 3 mark, there were 2 KPIs that you can tell 1.5, 1.5. See? Okay. Now the second requirement, 3 easy marks for definition, 3 easy marks for calcs. 6 done, 8 left. For economy, whatever KPIs you came up with, sorry, I missed out on this part. Yeah, 3 marks for just mentioning that whether these 3 E's connect well with CSFs and the KPIs. Remember that one paragraph of answer? And the rest was all the discussion part, up to 3 marks for each area. This up to saves you a lot, because if, for example, you missed out on this area and you wrote this completely well, you grab complete 9 marks, up to 3 marks each for discussing each heading. So for example, if you missed out on this area, you won't fail. You have the luxury to cover that by writing in the other area and grab complete marks available. Listening to this point. So this up to is a very huge blessing of APM examiner. See, you cannot answer all the things. That's why I always recommend you easy numbers, grab it, and then other than easy numbers, whatever is required to be written, write best in that area so that you can grab maximum marks out of that. Now, I am very sure the answer that we just went through of the student never commented on this part. He missed out this one. He never commented that the 3 E's, how well they are connected to CSF. It was not part of his answer. Still, he got 11 out of 14. Because of what? Up to. Because of what? Up to. So this is another good news for you people. Whatever you are writing, write that in the best possible way so that you grab complete marks available in that area. 2 areas for league table, 7 marks for the general assessment, and second, just imagine, second for the behavior of police. Now, this is a 10 mark requirement. As per marking scheme, up to 7 for general, up to 7 marks for police behavior. Which means if I wrote this for 3 marks or I grabbed 3 marks in this area, I can still grab 7 marks and make this 10. Nobody covers these areas that I'm covering right now. You need to understand the mindset of the examiner. Okay, done. Now the professional marks. I'll just read this and we will assess the script whether it is according to this or not. Let's do it. Communication, 3 areas. Report format, how the report format is, and the structure of the report. 2 from, date, subject, introduction, paragraph, and the structure, use of headings and subheadings. Done. Style, how it is presented. Language, you have to have professional language. Clarity, what all you have written should be clearly presented. Appropriate tone of the report. Presentation of calculation in the appendix with proper references. I do this every time, yes. Appropriate use of CBE tools. Same, spreadsheet, Word, easy to follow and understand, like references and all. This is crucial. Effectiveness of communication. That is, content of the report is relevant, what has been asked, and tailored to the question scenario. If they're asking you league table for deal and police, so you cannot comment on that league table will help customers deciding which company to choose. Customers can use league tables, but citizens cannot use league table to choose which police service we want. I hope this luxury is available, so many of the underdeveloped countries will choose police service of developed countries. Okay, done. 3 areas, 4 areas. Each one we'll see how will be marked. Listen please carefully. Okay, let me just do this one by one rather than reading all this. 4 areas covered. Let's go to that script and see how many marks that student managed to grab under communication. You have seen the report. This was the answer presented. You have seen to, from, date, subject, blah, 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 everything, headings, use of headings, everything was mainly written in paragraphs. Okay, come on, no bullets, no bullets. Spreadsheets, calculation was done. Okay. 4 things under communication. What were those 4 things? What were those 4 things? Number 1, style of the report, format, effectiveness, and yes, I forgot this. Oh, following the CEO request not to provide more than 2 KPIs. Oh man. They asked you to just do only. If you follow this, you get marks. You will be shocked to see the number of marks this student was able to grab in this area. Number 1. 1 mark for the general report structure and format, headings, subheadings and all. 1 mark for CEO request. Easy numbers. 1 mark for fulfilling CEO request. 2 done. 3 marks for style, language, clarity, and mainly effectiveness of communication. See, they say as comprehensive approach is taken to the report with all key issues addresses in an effective manner. Overall, the communication was mostly correct. The tone is professional, recognizes the need of the user, and is clear and focused. Overall, the communication. Overall, your answer is relevant. Overall, it addresses what was required. 5 marks, can you imagine? Out of 10 for communication. 1 for to, from, date, subject and all. 1 for fulfilling the special request. 3 for the entire effectiveness of communication. Wow. Awesome. Done? Clear? Okay. Next. Skepticism. Demonstration of ability to probe into why CSF were redefined. You had to answer why CSF were redefined, which means you had to explain why CSFs were redefined, the reasons for that. So you had this, you should have this ability to probe into it. Why? Okay. Remember, listen, 4 technical marks you were getting for this. And this student did manage to grab all 4 marks. Remember? On top of it, if you did this properly, they will award you more marks because you had that skeptical thinking. Buy 4, get 1 or 2 free. So this is one area I'll check. And I think he did manage to do this well, because he did answered all the reasons for redefined CSF. Done. Next, recognition that data provided does not allow some of the CSFs and KPIs to be adequately measured. You are getting marks for mentioning that we cannot work out all the CSFs and KPIs because data was not available. For this stupid statement, you're getting marks because you are skeptical. You know that data is not complete, and you cannot imagine this was already mentioned. Okay, this was not mentioned in this part. The next one, okay, I'll refer once it comes to the next part. So you had to mention that the data is not complete or we don't have. Now, did the official answer did this? Yes, let me show you. Listen, in the official answer, they did mention the first part, percentage of crimes reported you cannot work out, okay, plus percentage of change on year you cannot work out, KPI currently measured data is not collected. Yes, we don't have this information as such available. Yes or no? This was mentioned in the answers, and you can see in the skepticism part that they did require you to recognize that data does not allow some CSQ to be adequately measured. And the answer mentioned that. Did the answer mention it? Yes. What about the student's answer? The one that we just analyzed here. If you just look here, when the student was mentioning about the CSFs and KPIs, okay, his entire answer did use, I think, his entire answer, most of the measures he mentioned were from the table. Yeah, local victim and all was all he mentioned on his own. But I think he missed on mentioning this completely, that all the CSFs and KPIs had limited knowledge. Okay, let's see the marks. Skepticism. 1 mark given for the demonstration of the ability to probe into the reasons. The candidate clearly justified the understanding of the changes. Done? Okay. 0 awarded for the recognition that data provided does not allow. Yeah, okay. Data provided does not allow for some CSF and KPIs to be adequately measured, as the answer does not really address the difficulties of measurement of the KPIs. Okay, so this was missing. Skepticism included a point that some of the CSFs and KPIs, it was not adequately easy to measure them considering the data that was available. So you had to mention this point. Okay, you had to mention this point that due to the limitation of the data, it is not possible for us to do. So for this, the student was not awarded marks because this area where he lacked to get professional skepticism marks. Okay, clear everyone? See, the data in appendix 1 is not sufficient to measure this. See, the data in appendix 1 is not sufficient to measure. This is what exactly I was mentioning. This is the final example. The data in appendix is not sufficient to measure this. For mentioning this, you're getting the skepticism marks. Understood, everyone? Clear? The data in appendix 1 is not sufficient to measure this. Done with the skepticism. Now going towards the third professional skill. And what was that skill? Okay, what was that skill? Let's have a look. Here you go. Commercial acumen, effective use of examples drawn from the scenario. Understand this, effective use of examples drawn from the scenario, which means the more you grab examples, the more you use scenario based examples, you get marks for commercial acumen. I already covered this lot of times. And any other, oh, this is, sorry. Yeah, here. Effective use of example drawn from the scenario and any other practical consideration related to the context to illustrate the points being made throughout the report. So whatever you write, the more use of examples from the scenario and the practicality of that gives you commercial acumen. Okay. Now this student did use lot of examples from the scenario for sure. Whatever answer you saw, wherever you saw the answers, it was very much clear that he did use the scenario. So from commercial acumen point of view, he is scoring 3 marks for effective use of example drawn from the scenario and other practical consideration related to the context related point. There was a comprehensive use of example from the scenario throughout, coupled with clear demonstration of other practical considerations brought into developed points being made. Overall, this is what commercial acumen sense. So you see 5 marks for communication, 3 for acumen makes how much? 8. And 1 for skepticism makes how much? 9. 9 marks. Okay. Now what is left? Only, what is left? Only this one. Appropriate use of data. In which requirement you were required to use the data? Second part, where you were calculating VFM measures and draw conclusion on performance in relation to VFM, including recognition of further analysis which could be carried out to enable full evaluation of VFM to take place. Now, do you remember the question mentioned that full VFM is not possible right now? Yes, they did mention full VFM was not possible. So you had to recognize that we cannot perform the full evaluation here. So this is the first area which actually pertains to requirement B. And number 2, balanced appraisal to make recommendation of league tables. Balanced assessment, which means positive side, negative side should be covered well. And any other organizational matters and impact. Now, what is any other organizational matters? Impact on employee behavior. This was a key matter that you had to discuss. Remember, employee behavior. So balance assessment of league tables, including specific matter, was impact on employee behavior. Okay, so let's assess the answer for these two things. Number one, part B. Part B. Where is part B? See, I'm going towards part B. Part B, here it is. 18 point. Evaluation of VFM. Let's see. 1 mark. 1 mark for appropriate use of data to calculate economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. This area where he was not very good, he was weak in this part, honestly. Because if you remember, when he was analyzing economy, he just mentioned the cost is low and he ignored the impact of quality. Remember? So what examiner is saying? Economy is weak. Analysis of economy is weak. He ignored the quality part. So lost on technical marks. Also, he lost the professional marks. It's a beautiful combination. If you get technical marks, you get professional marks. If you lose technical marks, you lose professional marks. That is why we say complete the paper so that you get maximum professional marks. Efficiency discussion was very limited. I remember what one measure he worked out was population divided by police officers. So not very in-depth analysis done here. In this area particularly, nothing mentioned about effectiveness because effectiveness was overall good. So he just got 1 mark in this area, 0 marks for identification of omission from the analysis of further analysis which could be carried out to enable full evaluation of VFM to take place, as this was not attempted. He didn't mention that we cannot perform a complete analysis, which I think was part of the official answer. In official answer, it was mentioned somewhere that limited evaluation is possible. I'll quickly have a look. If I can quickly figure out, I'll just give you the hint of that. See, here it is. Here it is. Okay. For this professional marks under assessment evaluation, one can grab. Right? Done? All right. Done. Next, the last area was in part C, evaluation of league table. I think evaluation was the verb, I don't know. Anyways, here it is. His answer was advantage drawback. So I think he did manage to do some balanced assessment, yes. And somehow he tried to cover the behavior part as well. That was a specific key matter. So let's see. 2 marks awarded for balance appraisal to objectively make a decision on introduction of league table, demonstrating judgment and considering key matter. The candidate provide appropriate attempt to offer balance appraisal, and now let's see, and also address key impacts, police behavior. Key impact was police behavior. Understood? So this specifically, this was about the police behavior, key organization matters and impacts. Khalas. Now let's see how much for the professional side. Now see, oh man, what can I say? 5 for communication. Okay? 3 for analysis, make 8. 1 for skepticism, make 9. 3 for commission makes 12. And how much you can grab here? 10. So the max he got is 10 out of 10. Examiner gives you more marks for one skill like communication 5, for analysis 3, acumen 3. If you go to 12, he will institute 10. This means how much liberty you have to score in the professional mark area. And if, for example, I miss out on skepticism, not to worry. Not to worry. I can still manage to grab 10. If I skip skepticism, still I am ending up at 11. Are you getting the point? So how much total marks? 44 out of 50. 34 technical, 10 professional. And this answer was very different to the ACCA official answer. I hope this is clear to all of you. The way we have covered this in a very detailed way, it should be useful. Now you have a small task you can perform later on. Just check this second script on your own. Okay? You just check this second script on your own and see how much this student will get the marks based on the performance in the script. Can you do this now? Yes. 50-60% you are the marker now. Come on. Congratulations. Okay. So this is the second script where you can now check, understand, okay, this is quality of the answer. Oh, we'll be getting this much marks. I don't know how many, but you have to read it later on. Right? So you can check yourself, your understanding, and you will get the clarity on it. All right, the guys. That's it. Happy? Useful? I think I tried my best to control this entire stuff. 3 things I covered in front of you: the question, the official answer, the student answer. So I'm sure this exercise will not be wasted at all. Enjoyed it. I know it was lengthy, but I had no choice. Honestly, this exercise is much useful than 10 knowledge based revisions, because this matters in the paper. So do learn from this, be confident, have courage to write things that you think are right and justify. Be positive, give your best, no negativity now. Do share your feedbacks in the comment section. How was this? Do refer your friends to watch this video more and more so that they can benefit from the Read the Marker's Mind. There are 3 videos now, part 1 to 3. We have completed 100 marks of Read the Marker's Mind. And I think after this, the 2 videos, you just refer to my article of technical marks and the professional marks, the article that I've written, how to draft the answer. You will get complete clarity how to write answer technically and professionally. And these videos along with that document will be a superb, deadly combination. This document will be attached in the comment section on this channel of YouTube, as well as on the portal for the paid students. Okay. So thank you very much. I hope this will work well. Do share your comments so that I get to know how useful it was for you people, and do ask people to watch this more and more. Best of luck for your exams.